Hello and thank you for tuning into my video. Today I'm gonna be talking about my psychosis and how it affected me at the time. And as you maybe know, psychosis reminds quite a bit about schizophrenia. They have some similar features. So yeah, let's get into it. I was 19 when I had my psychosis. I was living abroad. I was living in Barcelona. And it's very hard when you're living away from home and getting a psychosis because you don't really have anyone to talk to about it. I tried to talk to my friend Charlie about it, but he said like, "Nah, man, you have supermarket syndrome." And that's just that means that you feel like everybody is talking about you and everybody is looking at you. But that was what how I was feeling. But yeah, so I just brushed it away after he said that, and I thought, like, yeah, maybe it's just I smoked some bad weed or something. But it really started at work when I was hearing voices. I thought people were talking about me at work in like a very like bad way, you know. So I actually went up to a guy and told him, "Yo, man, don't talk about me, and that shit is not cool." And stuff like that, and that was so embarrassing because he didn't not talk about me. He was from France, and I just felt like he was talking about me with some of his friends. So yeah, I also apologized to him like a couple of days after when I realized I have messed up. But yeah, it really started about I thought everybody was talking about me and talking behind my back, but I felt like I could hear it. Also in my apartment, I shared an apartment with like four Italians, and when they were in the living room, I remember I thought to myself that they were talking about me. So I actually texted one of my roommates, "Yo, stop talking about me," and stuff like that, and just also super embarrassing. But yeah, so it escalated for me to hear voices. As I mentioned in another video I heard voices when I was out running on the beach, and I heard voices at work. But it also escalated to hearing voices when I was just in my apartment. I remember I had another apartment with some friends from Denmark, and I was in the shower, and I just heard all these voices from my friends that they said all these weird kind of things. And then I went out of the shower and I went up to the, how you say, the rooftop. I went up to the rooftop and I said, "Yo, guys, did you say these things? Blah, blah, blah." And they said, "No, we did not say these things. Like, are you joking right now?" They said. And I said, "Yeah, I'm joking. It's just for fun. I'm just joking." So yeah, that's how it really started, my psychosis. And I remember I had like zero energy. So therefore, I actually had to quit my job because I just had zero energy. I just could not get up in the morning. I could not show up at work. And I heard these voices, and it just took like a toll on me. So I actually quit my job. So therefore, I moved back to my country, and I kept smoking weed. And it just got worse and worse. The voices, they were getting louder and louder, and my hallucinations appeared, and my delusions. So it was really, really crazy. And it all came down to one night when I called my sister and she picked up. And I also mentioned this in another video actually, but I was having a really bad trip night. I was hearing a lot of voices and stuff like that. And then I called her, and the next day my dad took me to the psychiatric department. And yeah, I stayed there for a while, but unfortunately I kept smoking weed and it just kept getting worse. Um, yeah. So basically, what happened is the voices escalated. They were talking about me and they were just like screaming and yelling. And it was like when I was smoking weed, that was the worst. That's when the voices came so like clear to me. So it was really unfortunate that I was addicted to the weed. But yeah, basically I felt really really bad every day. Like it's almost, I remember I woke up every day and I just forgot about the day before. I forgot about all the voices I heard. I forgot about all the delusions. So the next day I just woke up and pretended like nothing happened, and it just went on like that for a long time. So yeah, after that, my family told me to get into rehab, and I said, okay, I'm gonna go into this rehab. So I was at the rehab facility for around 3 weeks when I actually quit it. I was supposed to be there for 9 weeks, I believe, but I was there around 3 weeks, and not because I felt so bad, but that was because of the circumstances. I did not like being there. I did not like the people. I did not like the routines we had, and I fully believed that I could quit by myself. So actually, I quit it before the 9 weeks that I was supposed to be there. I quit it after, as I mentioned, 3 weeks, and yeah, after that, I actually when I stopped after quitting the rehab, I actually stopped smoking weed. So that's a blessing. Yeah. So a psychosis actually reminds quite a bit about schizophrenia. It has like the same elements, hallucinations, delusions, hearing voices. A psychosis is like a primary feature of schizophrenia. So I would say psychosis is like how you say uh, it's not forever a psychosis. You wake up from it, but schizophrenia is forever. So that's one of the main differences between those two. That schizophrenia is a chronic disease and psychosis is just part time. But psychoses are still very scary and they are very dangerous. I think some people they really hurt other people in a psychosis state of mind. When you are psychotic in a psychosis, you have like a lot of energy. It's like you're really pumped up because you have all these hallucinations. You think people are after you. You think the world is against you. Maybe you think some people will kill you. So your brain is like an overdrive, it's like an overheat. So it's like working too fast, having too many thoughts, not relaxing. So you actually have a lot of energy often when you are in a psychosis because all these things are happening. And yeah, and that's way different from my other video, which you should check out, where I mentioned negative symptoms where you have zero energy. Please check that video out. Thank you. And yeah, so psychosis is actually pretty broad. A lot of people have it, and everybody can get it basically. And it's often from drugs people are having a psychosis, especially mixing drugs. That's what I was doing. I was mixing Ritalin with weed, and that's actually why I had my psychosis. That's because I was mixing those drugs every day. So yeah, man, it's not a good thing. Psychosis, it's super dangerous, and you can have like an MDMA psychosis, you can have like a weed psychosis, you can have a coke psychosis. But what is similar to all of those psychoses is that the symptoms are often the same. It's like hallucination, hearing things, delusionary, having a lot of delusions. So they are quite similar in a way, but also very, very different. But I would definitely recommend not mixing drugs. I think that's the most common like reason for having a psychosis is mixing drugs. So I would definitely recommend not doing that to anybody. Even if I meet someone who has mixed some drugs, I will tell them right away, don't do that, man. It's super dangerous and it can really trigger a psychosis. So yeah, psychosis and schizophrenia, they are quite similar, but as I mentioned, schizophrenia is forever and psychosis are often not forever. From what my understanding is, they can go away. But of course, you can have a psychosis for 24 hours, you can have psychosis for maybe a week. So yeah, that's how it works. I don't miss having a psychosis. It was also one of the hardest times of my life because my brain was just working so much overtime. It never relaxed, and it's not a good thing. It's super scary to have. I'm really thankful that I was in the psychiatric department and I was at rehab because it really opened my eyes to that this is not okay and I should really quit these drugs. And luckily for me, I have a family that supported me, and I hope everyone who's going through a psychosis that they have someone who can support them. I know probably not everybody have, so that's unfortunate, of course. But yeah, psychosis it's something else, and yeah. Thank you for watching, and if you have any suggestion on another video you wanna see, just let me know in the comments, and please subscribe. Thank you. Peace.